guys, so great to be back to another vlog post. So today was an interesting day because to do the time lapses, there's this place close to here in a park. So you have to go up the hill, and on top they used to have this big bunker, and they had like cannons up there, you know, for during the Second World War to shoot down the planes. So after the war, they tried to blow that stuff up, but it was German engineering, so it's hard to blow up. So now they kind of use it for people to just have a nice view of the city. So I went up there second time. I was there a few days ago, and I was really excited about it because the sun was shining, everything looked great. And the moment I unpacked my camera, I realized the battery was here, stuck here, once again, charging. So in the past, I would have lost my lunch and my breakfast and the dinner from the day before. I would have been so pissed. I would have been so mad with myself, most and foremost, because, you know, it's my fault. I did forget to bring the battery, and why did you forget this, and so on and so forth. But when it was happening, I was talking to my sister who still lives in New York, and I stayed calm. I was like, okay. It's too bad. And then I remember that they had this little thing, you know, it's a little GoPro. So I set this one up. And you've already seen the opening sequence, but I think the closing sequence is one of the nicest ones I've shot so far. And, you know, this was it. And maybe it wouldn't have been as nice if I would have used the big camera that's just standing there. Sometimes we don't know what things are good for, and when we stay calm and just go with the flow, then very often things work out. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we can connect to ourselves, because there are so many ideas about it. First and foremost, people tell you, you got to love yourself. And that's a funny thing, because who am I anyway? So I'm supposed to love an ego that, you know, supposedly to the masters is just a mask. It's something I came up with based on my past experiences and isn't real. So how can you tell somebody to love yourself? Who's the self you're supposed to love? So I tried many different approaches to that. I mean, yoga, meditation, many spiritual books. I had a spiritual teacher for many, many years. I consider him a spiritual teacher. He wouldn't consider himself a spiritual teacher. Supposedly that's what real spiritual teachers do. They say, no, I'm not your teacher. No, I can't teach you anything. It's inside of you. And you say, yeah, but I don't know. I need a teacher. Please teach me. Anyway, so Michael Rosker, and he also came up with this new approach, so it's not my idea. I credit him. And other people have talked about the inner child as well, but I think his approach is very, it's very practical, because we want something practical. So we started to work, and here comes with the inner child. Because one thing a lot of great masters also have said is like that we should become like children again. But how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to become a child again? And then if I'm totally immersed in being a child, how can I function in this quite brutal environment? So how do we connect to something that we can visualize? Because the problem is I can't connect to something I don't know. So what Michael suggested was to connect to your inner child. So here we go. That sounds really spiritual. Ooh. But it's very simple. We didn't have an ego when we got here. Obviously, then we met people that were much taller than us, and they pretended to know what's going on here, and they said, look, you know, you have to be somebody. You know how children are, they just walk around, they're like, whatever, let's play. We're just in the here and now. We have no worries. We don't have a past, really, and we don't have anything to project onto the future. And now these tall people say, look, you know, you have to be somebody. And you're this body. You're not just here. You're not connected. You're a body. So act accordingly, damn it. Be a body. We become a body. We become an ego. We become Karsten or, a million other funny names that we give ourselves and believe in those names for the rest of our lives, that's what I am. And that's what we keep on doing. We imprison spirits, free spirits, into bodies. And then they're stuck there for 70, 80, 90 years, until they finally have their freedom again. The idea is, how do we find freedom while we're here? Because we're not only this body, we are this body, but we're also supposedly everything else. And here comes the child into play. Because if we connect to something that has that freedom that we're looking for, that is not hidden behind a mask, that's not imprisoned in an idea, then we have to go back to that point where we were before we accepted that we are body, we accepted that we are person, we accepted that we are this name. So that's where we have to go. So what we start to do is to talk to our inner child. Now, it's even difficult to connect to the inner child because we have forgotten who we were when we were this age. One of our homework assignments was to find an image and to look at that image to kind of connect back to our inner child. Just got my picture and it's so dusty. It's crazy to clean it. Anyway, so that's step one. You pick an image with you as a child. There's this image of me and, my grandfather. Hope you can see it. Is it sharp? So I always felt this was a great image to show the love my grandfather had for me. And that was somebody who went through the war and everything, but he really loved this little boy. And that was really helpful too, to connect to basically the love that I felt from my grandfather. That's basically the process. You pick up an image of yourself and then you start to talk to your inner child. Now, here we have a conversation. Here we have something that we can love because that's truly who we are. We are this inner child, ultimately, because this is what we brought to this planet, to this existence, and then we were layered with a lot of crap, basically ideas and the ego, and the ego is nothing else than an idea. So that's our way back. That's the portal to connect to ourselves. Now we have a relationship. Now, what you will recognize is when you start talking to your child, most of our children are pretty pissed because we've never listened to them. We never paid any attention because we knew what we had to do, but we never asked what the child wanted. And we neglected that inner voice, that inner connection. So our children are quite sad and they don't trust. So this is nothing that happens overnight. Try to start to envision him when he was that age, and you try to envision what he does and where he is in that moment, and what he does. Is he playing? What kind of clothes is he wearing? You try to get a really clear mental image, and then you say, "Hey, how are you? How are you feeling?" And he might not talk to you at the beginning. Say, "Oh, forget you, You haven't listened to me for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And it's never too late to do this. Why would you listen to me now?" And then you start to work with that. Then you say, "Look, maybe it's also time to say I'm sorry." But slowly you build up a relationship. You say, "Hey, what do you want to do? How do you want to spend the day?" Little steps. How do you envision your day? What do you want to play with? And step by step, he might open or she might open up to you, because then it starts, because you never know what the child might say. Maybe it says, "I don't like your husband." What do you do then? That's kind of tricky. Or, I don't like this job. I don't like this friend. I don't like whatever. Or she might say, I really would like to. And then you listen. And then you support him or her. And he or she might listen a little bit more, might trust you a little bit more, and might feel loved by you. Because if you love your inner child, these spiritual masters, they didn't say, love your ego. Who wants to love this ego? It's nasty. All the egos are kind of nasty. But love your true self. But then who's my true self? And what is my true self? It's the child. It's what I was before I was brainwashed. And that's where the freedom lies. That's where, when you get back to this, then things change. Then your life turns in different directions. Or stays the same. But that should be the voice that guides you through life. And let's not neglect the ego. The ego has its place. It has its place to pay the taxes, to do the vlog on time, what I haven't been doing, to not forget the batteries, but it's still okay, if you forget them, and so on and so forth. All the practical stuff. Ego, perfect. Not good for the child. Child, whatever. So we need them both. But this is an ego world. So let's say we want to have 50-50, but at the moment we're at 99.9% ego and 0.01 child. To me, after following a path for a long time, this is, to me, the shortest way to freedom, to happiness, to joy. Connect to your inner child. See if you can talk to your inner child. And when you talk to your inner child, love it for what it is. And then see what happens. Then see if things change. Then see if you're more relaxed. Then see if you flip out when you forget the batteries of your camera. Thank you so much. That was it for today. See you guys tomorrow. It's Namaste. Tomorrow's yoga again. I took a day off because of the shoulder, but I'll be back tomorrow. So if you want to book a class, you also find this below. Please like and subscribe if this was helpful to you. And I see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye for now.